you can breed a rooster that did everything right, every one of his brothers did right, but it doesn't mean he's going to reproduce good, you know. A lot of people get mad at me, you know, that everybody wants there to be a scientific form for it. Some people have it, I don't. I think it takes a lot of luck to breed the right rooster. That's when you get lucky, you know, find that niche.
What are things that you look for in body conformation?
I do believe that's a very important factor in game chickens. If you look at all great horses, no matter from pulling horses to racing horses to a good broken horse, their body type is all the same. And I believe that chickens need a good body type. I like a 45-degree angle on the body, you know, the tail set not too high or too low. It does seem like sometimes some of the higher tailed, like what we call squirrel tail roosters, some of those, if you have one brother that's that way, he might seem to cut a little bit better, but I don't like to breed toward that. I like medium station and long wings. You gotta have long wings, that's what gets him off the ground. I don't like legs no taller than his back can handle. I don't care if his legs are that tall. If his legs are that tall, he needs to back that wide. A lot of chickens are really high stationed, but they're narrow backed, and if you watch them after the first break, they can't get turned around time. They're not good. Everything needs to be in proportion. You can't have one overcompensate the other. I spend more time going through hens than I do a rooster. Give me a good hen and I can bring an average rooster to her, and I think that's the way to do it. I think the hen is the most important part. All male species are 51% their mother. So at the end of the day, if you're trying to produce battle fowl, you better pay attention to the hens, because you're going to keep all the stags out of that breeding, right? So the rooster, I mean, he needs to be good, but the hen is, yeah, where it's at, in my opinion. I think the rooster produces, in my opinion, I think he produces a lot of the mental part of it. I've noticed that if you breed a really mean rooster or a really high-strung rooster, you'll get crazy hens and mean roosters. I like a rooster that's very gentle, very calm, can take stress very well. You know, I mean, they do get more attributes than that from the rooster, but I think the mental part of it is the biggest part they get from the collar.
Why do you think it's important for them to stay mentally clear as well?
I mean, you know, you got to have a good rooster, you got to have a healthy rooster and all of that. But if a rooster can't take stress, you know, especially like in the old days, you know, you go to a derby and it might last, you know, weigh-in was at 9, it started at 10, you might fight your money fight at 4 o'clock in the morning, right? You know, the following day, you got to have a rooster that has a strong mind that can handle all that pressure, you know, going that long on, you know, being empty and trying to keep you on point, hauling long ways. A chicken with a weak mind, they're not going to take being hauled 12, 6 hours, you know.
How important do you think it is to select the right birds to breeding?
Oh, well, that's the key to everything, right? Finding that niche, yeah, that's where you need to have a little Irish luck, I think. You know, like, yeah, you can breed a rooster that did everything right, every one of his brothers did right, but it doesn't mean he's going to reproduce good. You know, that's. A lot of people get mad at me, you know, that everybody wants there to be a scientific form for it. Some people have it, I don't. I think it takes a lot of luck to breed the right rooster. That's when you get lucky, you know, find that niche.
How detailed would you say you have to be when breeding?
I don't know how anybody else does it, but like I'll get in a pen if I'm picking sisters to breed, right? So I'll get in a pen full of hens or pullets or whatever, and I'll spend hours just sitting on a bucket in there and measuring and yeah, going through. I think that's where you better spend a lot of time at, you know. Say a Hail Mary and hope you got some luck too, you know.
What do you look for in your offspring from day one?
Health. Health. From the moment they come out of the hatcher, health. I'm looking for health. And you'll notice certain breeds are healthier from the day one than other breeds. And yeah, go back to the brood pen that produced the really healthy chicks from day one. If you can keep them healthy from day one to 2 years old, that's everything. Yeah.
How many chicks do you hatch a year?
Oh, we're not that big. Maybe 2,500, 3,000.
And how many stags do you put on a tie cord?
Last year I think we raised 500 and I think 47 crossbred stags, not counting peers. So that was a big year for us. That's a lot of work for one man and a son that goes to college.
Do you incubate?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
What incubator do you use?
We have a couple of those, I guess they call them Chinese incubators. You know what I'm talking about? The ones that they call them no names. We have a couple of those. We have and a few of the smaller GQFs. We use those as hatchers. We have one incubator that holds 1,000. I bought a new one this year that holds 800. And then we got 5 or 6 of the GQFs.
Why did you choose those incubators? What made you like them?
The no-name ones, the ones that come from China, I bought it. A guy was getting out, and I bought it really cheap, and it was like a clock. It just worked. And then I bought a new one, ordered it from China, and it was the same way. It just worked. It got 1,000 eggs, and if they was fertile and clean, it would hatch them. I had good luck with them. Some people say they're junk. Oh, maybe I just got lucky. I think incubators are like women. You figure it out, you let me know. Either they're good or they're bad.
What is your hatch rate?
Oh God. If I can get the 80% mark, I think that's pretty good. 85% really good. Yeah.
What do you look for in the selection of the egg?
Clean eggs. I mean, it's got to be shaped good. I don't put no misshapen eggs in there, but a misshapen egg really they'll hatch out just fine. I want clean eggs. Yeah.
At what temperature and humidity do you set your incubator at?
All of mine have computers on them, so they're set. I set them at 100. 99.9 is, I think, the standard. I set mine at 100, and then the humidity we try to keep it about 50% for the first 18 days, and then we bump it up there like around 60 when they're hatching.
What is the most important thing when it comes to incubating?
Cleanliness. So when I first started incubating chickens, which I don't know much about chickens now or incubating, I don't, but back then I even knew less. And so I bought some incubators, right, brand new. I used them for about 3 or 4 years, and then my hatch rate just went down and down and down. Couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong. I mean, like, I was hatching 25%. So I sold the incubators and I bought new ones, and with the same brood pens, literally one jumped up to 85%, right? What I found out was the incubator, that's what they grow every disease in the world in, right? So if you put a dirty egg in there, when your baby chick, he's hatching out with salmonella, you name it.
How long do you hold your eggs before you incubate them?
I set eggs every 7 days.
And what is your process like after your chicks hatch?
Like, you mean when we take them out of the incubator?
Yeah.
We just take them out, pretty much standard, I'd say. Take them out, we toe mark them, of course, and then we vaccinate. Yeah.
You mentioned that you raise your chicks on another farm. What benefits have you seen from that?
That kind of goes back to Bush. He always thought that if you raise chickens somewhere else than where you live, you'd be healthier. And I was fortunate enough to buy another farm, and we bought it just for the simple fact of raising baby chicks on it, never having no chickens here. And there's a whole lot of reasons. The main reason, I think, not that I know much, but it gives the earth time to heal. So when you have that many animals concentrated in one spot, the health factor on my chickens, the first year I raised chickens off of this farm, doubled their health immediately. And I think it's been that way ever since. And I think it's because, like right now, you've seen the rooster yard, it's about empty, right? So all that section of my rooster yard right now, after I lined it, has time to heal itself, right? So then when I bring the stags over here, they're on fresh ground, just like chickens never been here. And when I take the last chicken off the other farm, it has 4, 5, 6 months of nothing on it, and it gives the land time to heal. I think that's the major advantage is the baby chickens eating good grass the whole time they're growing up. A chicken will eat as much grass as a cow if they weigh the same amount, right? So a chicken will eat more grass than a cow pound for pound. So if your chicken is running around on soil that's producing grass that's, got nothing in it, there's no benefits to it, right? You spend a little bit of money on some lime and some other stuff, get the soil right, the pH right, now your chicken's eating really good grass, it's gonna produce a better chicken.
What feed do you start your chicks at?
My baby chicks eat the same feed that they eat as roosters. The only difference is it goes from a pellet to a crumble. My chickens eat the same feed from day 1 to 2 years old.
And have you seen any benefits in doing it that way?
Yeah. Once we started doing that, in my opinion, for whatever it's worth, it cut out a lot of stress, So I did like everybody else did or whatever, you buy a chick starter that's made by this company and you feed it to a certain point, then you change over to, this feed. So anytime you change feed on a chicken, in my opinion, for whatever that's worth, I think that stresses them out, right? Their whole gut system has to get used to it, right? It's going to set them back, It's the same reason why I don't put chickens or stags in stag pens. I don't like the stress it puts on, I like to put them directly on a type cord. But yeah, I think my chickens eating the same feed from day 1 all the way through, I think that produces a better chicken, less stress. You don't have to get used to different types of feed.
Do you vaccinate?
Yeah, we vaccinate for coccidiosis and Merrick's. If you can keep coccidiosis out of your baby chickens, you got everything else worked. As far as I know it.
At what age do you free range?
We keep them in a brooder in the shop here. We keep them in a brooder until they're 2 weeks old, and then they go out to those outdoor boxes from then on. So from 2 weeks on, they're free range.
Do you prepare them before free ranging them?
No, we have those, those boxes with the heat lamps in them and the wire floors with the little door. And when we first put them in there, you have to put a little cage around them, otherwise they'll go on walkabouts and you'll never see them again. So once they figure out if they see something dangerous, how to run back into the chick box, then we take that little cage off and open both doors. So technically, I guess from about 4 weeks old on, they're 100% free range.
How long do you free range them for?
Until they make you pick them up. The longer the better.
At what age do you start selecting?
You mean like off of the walk, off the free range?
Yeah, off the free range.
Well, whenever they start making me, whenever they become mature and I have to go harvest them, as soon as we catch them, that's the culling process right then. As soon as I get my hands on him. If he's sick or he's got a bad body or crooked toes, or right then, you got no waste no more money on him. Yeah.
And what are the defects that you look for that make you cull them?
Well, if they're sick, first of all, that's number 1. Bad bodies would be number 2, which that usually goes along with being sick. And then after that, it's probably cosmetics. If a stag's got a great body and he's healthy, and he's a purebred chicken, and he's got just like a crooked toe from the incubator, I may keep him back because I may breed him. I won't sell him to a customer, but I may breed him. I may cull him later on, but yeah.
And how do you prevent mites on your farm?
Oh, I don't know about anywhere else, but in Oklahoma we have what they call white mites or clear mites, then we have black mites, and black mites they're the absolute most horrible. They literally eat a rooster to death. With chickens that are free range, that's probably one of the hardest battles, is because you can't catch them all, and de-lice them all. Well, there's just certain things a man can do, right? Different ways you can get that done. Yeah. Like Bush said, everybody needs to know everything, right?
What does your feed consist of?
On my feed?
Yeah.
Lions laugh at it and call it horse feed, which is about what it looks like. It's just mostly pellets. We keep a little bit of hard grain in there to work the gizzard. You know, you got to work that gizzard. That's basically it. Yeah, it's basically pellets with some hard grain in it.
How often do you feed?
I feed once a day, once they're on tie cord, once I harvest them. Baby chicks we feed twice a day, especially when they get older. That's how you can run them longer. Don't ever let them get anything.
And how much do you feed them?
The babies?
The ones on just tie cords?
On a tie cord, we feed a half a cup, like an actual baker's measuring cup, about 4 ounces of feed, and we kind of heat that off. So actually they're probably getting 5 ounces of feed a day.
Do you feed them the same as, do you feed the yard the same as the brooders? I mean your brood pens?
My brood pens? Yeah, I think if your feed is a good enough quality, you shouldn't have to up your feed when you're breeding. I know some people, whenever they got their brood pens put together, they go buy totally different feed. I'm not saying that's right or wrong, I'm just saying I think my feed is good enough that I can feed it to the breed. I don't have to go add like extra oyster shell and all that stuff to the feed. You know, I think if you have to go do that for your brood pens, then you probably need better feed year round, you know, in my, whatever that's worth.